Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Michael and Kevin Bacon bring their band, the Bacon Brothers, to Rams Head in Annapolis, Maryland for 4 concerts over 2 days this Friday and Saturday. Kevin joined me to discuss their newest tunes, including their hometown tribute Philly Thing, while Michael joined midway through the call to discuss their EP, The Erato. Hey, Kevin Bacon, hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in DC again.
Happy to be here.
I feel like this is becoming a almost annual tradition. Every time the Bacon Brothers come through town, you hop on with us, and we appreciate it. That this time we'll tell everyone you're coming to the Rams Head in Annapolis, Maryland on June 16th and 17th, and I believe there's like 2 shows each night, so 4 chances to see you. Why do we keep coming back to the Rams Head or Annapolis? Do you have good memories in the area? You know, why is it always a fun time?
It's a great time. We love that venue. I don't know why. There just seems to be certain pockets of the world or venues where we do well, people enjoy it, and we can come back and play that place, and people will actually know some of the tunes, which is kind of great when you're a band that's never had a hit single, and also Annapolis is a beautiful place. My brother is a very, very big fan of boats and all things nautical, and so to be there and be able to go out on the water sometimes or do whatever, we like that spot.
Definitely. I didn't know Michael was a big fan of boats, but that works for me. And of course, you did a few good bands. So we got military. Jessup, Maryland is right down the street, so it all ties in. So hey, there you go. Yeah. That was a little bit of a stretch, but I guess my question: Did you film around here at all for that? Or that's more Marines than Navy, but it's close.
No, well, I did go to Quantico to do some research. I was never on location down there. In fact, I think almost all of my stuff was on the stage in the courtroom. I had a couple of scenes that were outside the courtroom, but most of that was on a sound stage.
No worries. Well, I appreciate you killing time until Michael calls in. We're just bantering movies, but hey, we can talk some of the music stuff until Michael joins. I know you guys have a new somewhat new single. It was out, I guess, in November of 2022, so relatively new. It's called Philly Thing. Obviously that you guys are both raised in Philly and everything, but tell our listeners really quick if they haven't seen it. The video is pretty cool. You weave in images of the city, so I'd say more of an upbeat version of the Springsteen Streets of Philadelphia montage. It's more of upbeat than that. It's more upbeat than that. But tell us, the Rock to the Future thing. Tell it.
Yeah, so I wrote the song, and it was really a response to when I talk about something that was very specific to Philadelphia, either they'd say, "Oh man, that's weird," or "I've never heard of that." And a lot of times, the response would be, "Oh, it's a Philly thing." And I thought, well, that's kind of a funny title. And so I went and tried to think about a whole bunch of references: music, food, local characters, history, things that some people might know are native to Philadelphia, but other people might not even have any kind of a clue what I was talking about. And I crammed them all into this one song. It's just kind of funky, fun song. And I played it for my brother, and he said, let's try to do something positive with that tune, and something that ties into a Philadelphia-based charity. And we recorded it with a bunch of Philadelphia musicians, and then we found this local Philadelphia charity called Rock to the Future, where they provide instruments and music lessons and recording situations and opportunities to join bands, etc., for underserved Philadelphia youth. Music for youth is a really important thing to my brother and I, because it was very important to us growing up and coming up through the public school system. But back in the time when we were in public school, they actually did provide music, and I don't think there's that much of that anymore. I don't know if the funding is still there for instruments and lessons, and we would put bands together, etc. So Rock to the Future is giving these kids a safe and fun opportunity to make music, and not just in the classical space. They really are more kind of focused on pop and rock and rap and soul music. And so we were able to put some of the kids from Rock to the Future on the actual song. And so that was super cool. And then we also did a behind the scenes video of what the experience was like for the kids to come in the studio and learn their parts. And one young man, did a little rap in the middle of the song. And it was a lot of fun. And we've ended up helping them, kind of get some more visibility and raise some money. And we played a benefit for them recently. So it all came around full circle.
That's such a great way to give back to the hometown. I love it. And just so our listeners, I mean, you have to watch the video. We'll maybe embed it in the article or something, but just for a taste of it, what are some of the references of Philly you mentioned? Like, it's like Smoking Joe, it's Joe Frazier and Teddy Pendergrass, and there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Teddy Pendergrass. Yeah, I got Jerry Blavat, who died recently, who was a disc jockey in Philadelphia, also known as the Jeter with the Heater. I'd say the most obscure thing is very at the end of the song, and I say, you're wondering what the hell goes into Scrapple, and I would say almost nobody outside of Philadelphia has ever heard of Scrapple. The Scrapple is it's a pretty unusual dish that I think comes from the Amish, and it's all kinds of stuff from the pig that's been parts of the pig you don't even want to know about that are then I think combined with cornmeal and fried. And so I figured I might as well make a Scrapple reference.
Hey man, I grew up in Northern Maryland, Frederick to be exact, and we ate Scrapple growing up. So it must have trickled down from Philly over the line a little into the.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, good. I'm glad to hear it because that's not that, that's a pretty.
Hey guys, sorry, I'm here.
And Michael, we were just talking about eating Scrapple, and like clockwork, you jump on.
It just rings a bell in my soul.
Well, thanks for picking up the scraps of this interview. No, Kevin is crushing it. We were just talking about Philly thing, and we were going into the video and all that stuff. But since you've jumped in here, why don't we have you talk to the EP that came out? What, Erato? Is that? Did I say it right?
Erato, yeah.
Yeah. Was that it's like a 5-track thing? It's on Spotify now if anyone wants to look it up. But tell me about the lead track, In Memory of When I Cared. Wasn't that the Livin' La Vida Loca guy that co-wrote it with you guys?
Yeah. Kev, help me out. I'm spacing out his name.
Desmond Child.
Desmond Child, thank you. Yeah, so our drummer, Desmond Child is kind of a one-of-a-kind songwriter over the years and has written many, many enormous pop hits, Bon Jovi, as you said, the
Ricky Martin,
Vida Loca, Ricky Martin.
Aerosmith,
Kiss.
I think he's done some stuff.
Aerosmith, yeah.
So our drummer was working with him. I think it was at Lincoln Center, and told Desmond that he worked with us, and our drummer boldly said, "Why don't you do a writing session with Michael and Kevin?" And he amazingly agreed. So we set this writing session up. It was kind of interesting. He booked us for 2 days in his apartment in New York. And we are used to, we're very time oriented. We come from a very time oriented family. Like, things have got to get done all the time really quickly and then on to the next. And we get to Desmond's apartment and we're drinking coffee for an hour and talking about the music business and listening to records. That's all we did the first day. So the second day we kind of got to work, and we listened to about 10 different tracks. He'd had a young man from LA put down for him, and we picked one we kind of liked. And then he had a bunch of titles, and we picked the title In Memory of When I Cared, and just kind of cranked it out. And it was really interesting. The last song that I wrote, the way I structured the lyrics was almost textbook to Desmond's way of working. He's very, very specific about how the rhyme schemes work, and they have to be consistent from verse to verse. And you can do interesting kind of defer the rhyme a couple of beats later or make the rhyme earlier, but it has to be the same every time. And I think that kind of discipline really was good for me. It really showed me, kind of where he puts his energies in very specific details. So we wrote the song, and Kevin demoed it, and we cut that with Joe, right, Kev?
Yeah, we cut it with Joe. Yeah, Joe took basically took our tracks and then brought in a couple of live players. Yeah.
Who is this? Joe who? So I have the name.
Joe Nicolo.
Joe Nicolo. Yeah,
he's
a producer.
He's out of Philly.
Yeah, Philly.
So that was in memory. Errato is a song Kevin wrote, which is a song that I'm playing the auto harp on, which is really fun. And what else was there? Let Me Happen to You, Girl, which is a song that I've been scoring films for close to 50 years, and I have a little file on my desktop, and it says cool tracks. So if I'm archiving or just going back into my catalog to look for stuff, and I hear something that I've totally forgotten about, it stick it in here, and then every once in a while I'll look into it. And I found this track that I wrote for a documentary a long time ago, and I've just always loved the track, and so I wrote a song on top of it, which is pretty unusual for me.
And that is Let Me Happen to You, Girl. Okay. So is Errato, those 5 songs, are they like definites for the Ram's Head set list, or is it any of the old stuff too, or is it a mix of everything?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because since we put that out, we're actually working on a whole bunch of new stuff. So I don't know. They're not definites. No.
Okay. Well, what's some of the new stuff?
Yeah.
Let's go. What's in the new cool tracks folder?
We're working on a few things. We're just tomorrow actually getting together to rehearse, which is not something that we do all the time. But we have, I guess we have 6 new songs, and I don't think they'll all necessarily be ready, or they won't all necessarily fit into the set. But
I can assure you they won't be. But we're going to try.
But we're going to start, working on them and see, and I think that although these things are already pretty much recorded, I mean, we'll probably have a 6-song EP out sometime, in the summer or maybe in the fall, depending on when everyone thinks it's a good idea to release it. But it's always good to take them and put them in front of people. And you never really know what's going to work live. Some things work better in the studio. Errato has a song on it that we've never played live, called Karaoke Town, but I think it's really cool on the record, and I don't know if it really necessarily would be a good live song, but that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So we don't really know what the Ram's Head set's going to be at this point, but
there's so much material to pick from, so it'll be good no matter what. Well, before we run, we've talked to you guys. This is probably like the 3rd time you guys have both called in here on WTOP, and I'm always curious to see if your pick for what you thought your favorite song evolves. Like Michael said his favorite was Only a Good Woman and Dark Chocolate Eyes, and Kevin, you said 36 Cents and Picker the last 2 times. So what would it be now?
I think the song one of the songs that always does really well live is a song of Mike's called The Way We Love. It's a very, very simple arrangement, basically microphone on guitar and it's like, it's really pared down, but it's just a beautiful song, and it's a love song, and people really love that. I know that at a place like the Ram's Head, it'll go over well.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. That's but once you start playing the new stuff, which is literally what I'm doing today, I'm cramming for the rehearsal tomorrow. So one of the reasons I forgot to jump on. You never know if you're playing live, weird things happen and things develop, and like there's one song I wrote, which is, I don't even know if we can do it live, because it has very, very intricate harmonies. Most of them are in falsetto. So I'm just curious how we're going to get that done. So that's going to be the big challenge for me in the next couple of weeks, is trying to get that song ready. The other ones are relatively straightforward, I would say.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for throwing out you giving our listeners a ton of good, fun, positive homework of song titles to go listen to, and to get excited for the concert. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Our listeners, check out the archives for some fun, rapid fire of Kevin's movies and stuff. Go get some Scrapple.
Thank you.
Right. You're making me hungry.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.